Clara skipped down the sidewalk. Her plastic pumpkin swung. It was Halloween night. Time to meet her friends. A shortcut led through Ravenwood Forest. Old folks said it was haunted. Clara didn't care. She was 10. Too old for silly stories. The woods were dark. Shadows twisted around trees. The air grew cold. Clara shivered. A low moan drifted on the wind. She walked faster. Then she saw it. Fog rolled between the trees. It swirled and pulsed like a living thing. Clara stopped. Goosebumps prickled her arms. The air felt heavy, hard to breathe, but she had to get home. She held her breath and stepped into the fog. The fog pressed close. It smelled old and damp like a wet basement. Clara's heart pounded. She wanted to turn back, but the fog was everywhere. It muffled the sounds of the night. Only whispers remained. The whispers seemed to come from the fog itself. They spoke her name. "Clara! Clara!" The voice was cold and faint, like wind chimes in the distance. Clara's hand trembled. She gripped her pumpkin tight. "Who's there?" she called. Her voice was thin and shaky. The whispers stopped. Clara took another step. The fog swirled around her face. It tasted metallic like blood. Clara coughed. Her throat burned. She tried to speak again. No sound came out. Panic swelled inside her. She clawed at her throat. She had to call for help, but her voice was gone. A pair of headlights cut through the fog. A truck rumbled to a stop on the road ahead. Clara ran toward it, relief flooding through her. She waved her arms and jumped up and down, but no sound escaped her lips. The driver, a man with a kind face, leaned out the window. "You all right there, little one?" he asked. Clara's heart sank. He couldn't hear her. She was lost in a world of silence. Clara backed away from the truck, her eyes darting back and forth. The fog seemed to be closing in, swirling faster. And then she saw them, faces in the fog, pale, shimmering shapes. Their mouths were open wide in silent screams. She recognized one face, her own. It stared back at her, eyes wide with terror. The fog reached out with cold, ghostly fingers and touched her face, her hair pulling her in. Clara screamed, but no sound escaped. The truck driver, unable to help, drove away. The red taillights disappeared into the swirling white. The woods were silent again, except for the whispers of the fog and the silent screams of the faces trapped within.